excited to be here with you this evening. Good evening. I'm Kelsey Patterson, Sapphire Ambassador with Plexus Worldwide, and I'm so excited for tonight. I am honored and absolutely blown away that Amber Miller has agreed to be on this call with me. I think that when she decided to do this, she didn't know how crazy I was, because I have probably blown up her messages and her phone, and she's like, will this girl ever leave me alone? But I think she has hope for relief. But anyway, she is absolutely amazing. She's inspiring. She is a 25-year-old jewel like me. She's an Emerald Ambassador, and she has one of the best stories. And I cannot wait for her to share with us. So without further ado, Amber.
Hi. Wow, that is like such a great intro. Thank you so much for having me on. I am so excited. You did not blow up my messages. I think I did the opposite to you. It's awesome. I love what you got going here. I think it's great. I'm just going to get right into it then. I'm Amber Miller, like she said, I'm 25, and I've been an ambassador for 2 years next month, and it has been a crazy journey. So to start at the beginning, I'll give you a brief health testimony. I had chronic allergies all growing up. When I was like 10, 11, 12 years old, I was my doctor's second worst allergy patient, 5 different medications, 2 different inhalers. I was drugged up all day long. It was a terrible state to be in. So I tried to heal myself naturally when I was about 17 and go completely raw. I was dedicated. We got milk goat, so I had raw goat milk. I got chicken eggs, and I blend those in the blender with barley grass from the garden. I mean, 100%. It was disgusting. But I did. I was able to get off my medications and just survive. And then I moved to Tennessee because I grew up in California. Got there and moved to Tennessee. It's a whole different ballgame in the South. Like, you can see the pollen in the air, and there's warnings on the radio. Like, that was not my reality back home. So, and I live an hour from Nashville, so way out in the sticks, to a total country boy. Our diet completely changed. He wanted, biscuits and gravy and sausage and all that kind of stuff. He was not going for the barley grass green smoothie. And my allergies started coming back again. I got pregnant, which is even harder to keep up a, really good health diet, just cravings, all that kind of stuff. And everything just went downhill. Spring was horrible, fall was terrible. I couldn't go outside. I was introduced to plexus when my son was 15 years old, and my husband was coming home, and I'd be crying watching him play outside because I couldn't be with him. My eyes would swell up. It was really terrible. And I was nursing, so I didn't want to go on all the drugs because I had enough knowledge to know that that was bad. So my friend told me about plexus, and I just tried it to be nice, and it said weight loss, and who doesn't want to lose weight? So I took it. I thought it tasted good. I noticed about 2 weeks in, all of my allergy symptoms were almost completely gone. I just thought it was a fluke, that the pollen count wasn't high, something like that. After my supply ran out, I didn't reorder or anything like that, just because I wasn't connecting the dots. I thought it was a coincidence. So maybe 2 weeks off, all my allergies started coming back, and my husband was the one who said, "What are you doing? Get that stuff. Like, order it. It was helping you." And he'll joke, like, he knows when I'm not consistent or I'm not taking it or my order hasn't come in, and even my hormones, all that kind of joking going on there. But so that's how I found out that it was really amazing stuff, and I loved it, and I've been on it this whole time ever since. It's 2 years. It's spring right now. Totally fine. It's not a fluke. So I told my mom about it. I signed up as an ambassador at wholesale. I told my mom, and my mom is a diamond ambassador in California, Lori Welch. And if you've ever heard her story, I basically shoved it down her throat, took away her coffee and made her drink a Slim, that whole thing. And she fell in love with it. My dad is a type 1 diabetic. He got amazing results. And my mom had the experience to know what she had in her hands, to see that this was a needed product, that it was something that really the population needed and was missing. And so she went back home to California because she'd been visiting me in Tennessee, and she went crazy with it. She just told everybody. She shared it with everyone. She had a really wide network and strong belief. And she also had a high reputation of being very health conscious. So she just went crazy. I, on the other hand, did not have the same success. And this is kind of getting into my business testimony, and I'm going to be completely honest with you guys about it because it's not pretty, but hopefully you guys can learn something from it. I told a couple people about plexus because, wow, my mom had gone great, so I was going to tell more people. And I got 3 people on it, 3 other people. All 3 people came back to me and said, it doesn't work, like 2 weeks in. I'm not losing weight. I've put on all this weight over the last 10 years, but I'm not losing weight in the first month. And I am a huge people pleaser. I cannot take negativity from others. I crumble. That was who I was. So I let it affect me, and I let it stop me, because if you've ever been in that position, 3 people can seem like 30 or 300. That's what it felt like to me. Like the whole world said plexus wasn't working. Even though looking back, I was in this crowd of plexus lovers. My family, all my friends outside of my personal customers were loving it. But for some reason, I let those 3 people stop me. And it really stopped me from sharing. I was worried that it was going to happen again, and I was taking it personally. And you've heard other leaders say, don't take negativity personally. It's not towards you. I like to say, reflect it back to the other person of what's going on in their life. Maybe they weren't ready for plexus. Maybe I know I pushed it on them. One of them, I pushed it really hard, like I did with my mom. And for my mom, it works, but usually there's a quote I like, and a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. So if you're pushing it and shoving it on someone, most likely they're not going to want it to work. And so they're not going to be consistent. They're not going to do what it takes. So I went a year later. I went to California to visit my mom, and she was a diamond ambassador at the time, just awesome. And I'm still over here, drinking my pink drink because I love it, but I'm not sharing it. And she basically, I complained the whole time there for about a month. We go for 2 months. I complained the entire time. And they got to a point where she said, if you say plexus doesn't work one more time, I'm going to wash your mouth out with soap. And she sat me down. She's like, Amber, look at your dad's results. Look at my results. Look at your results. What are you saying? Why are you letting those 3 people stop you? That is not the whole of your experience. So she sat me down. She gave me some health articles. I totally changed my outlook because I changed my beliefs. I became firm and committed, and just had a really firm foundation. So what I needed in my personal journey was to know why these products were working, and to have that foundation when I go to people. So that now if someone tells me it doesn't work, it doesn't save me one bit. And of course I've had it happen since. I know that there's backstory. I know what it's doing on a cellular level in my body. It doesn't stop me. That one person is just one person. It's not 100 like it used to be, like what it used to feel like it was. So what I like to tell people is, hindsight is 20/20. Learn from my story. Don't let some negative people stop you, because out of those 3 people, one of them was my mother-in-law, so very close. She's now lost 20 pounds. She's doing great. She's an ambassador. She's silver. She's growing her downline. The other one who's on the product, he came back to me a year and a half later and said, all right, it was me. I wasn't really trying. I want to sign up. I want to order. I want to do this. And the third just came back to me last month, so almost 2 years. And she said, I need this stuff. I need it. Please give it to me. How do I get it? She came to me. So, and those people could have stopped my journey if I hadn't had my mom push me through it. So hopefully I can be, if you're in that situation, I can be that person that pushes you through it. Keep going, don't let it stop you. Find more people. So that was one part of it. And another part I know I was telling you earlier that I wanted to talk about was your fears that stop you. Because a lot of people say that they want this, but they don't do it, or they don't continue to do it after the first try. And I think that it's a good challenge, and what I want to challenge you guys to do is write down your top 3 to 5 fears. Depending on how long you've been in, you might only have 3. If you're just new, you probably have 5 main ones. So really think about it. What would stop you? What's causing you to fear going forward? and address those fears. Address them, stare them right at the face, and change them. And so I want to give you some tips on how I've done that. Some of my fears was that I would fail and I wouldn't follow through. And I think a lot of people fear failure. I, all through my life, I've had incidences where I didn't follow through, where I played 6 different instruments, but I quit them all before I was successful. So I can just, I can play a little tune on the piano and a little bit on the guitar. I tried every single sport, but I am not a black belt in karate. I never followed through with gymnastics or horseback riding, or any of them. And so that was something in my past from a child that I carried with me into my plexus journey and into life. That and my husband even laughed at me when I started, in a nice way, but he thought it was cute because he knew that I never finished anything. So that was something I was carrying with me, but it wasn't who I was. I had to realize that that was an old person. That was not who I was or who I could be. So I addressed it. I changed it. Now I have personal affirmations. I'm really huge on personal affirmations. So for that fear, I look in the mirror and I say, I am so glad that I'm going to do this and I'm not going to quit. I'm so proud of myself for following through. I'm so glad that I'm doing my daily activities and I'm not stopping. And saying that 3 times a day, that is so powerful. I'm rewriting my thoughts. Another one that I think is common for most people is the fear of man. I wrote that down just big and I put it out there. I was scared what people were going to think of me. And I had to realize I had to re-record my thoughts of just really not caring, because I don't want to take that fear into the rest of my life. I'm 25. I don't want to be 45 and still base my decisions of my life on what people's opinions are of that decision. So there are things in my life right now before plexus that I was firm enough to not be shaken from. My belief in Christ. I want to homeschool my kids. There's a lot of people who don't agree with that. But I was firm that that's what I wanted to do. So it doesn't matter what those people think. So I had to, that's building that belief of, it doesn't matter what some people think about you in plexus, about plexus products. For me now, no, it doesn't. I know there's people that want to bleed, because I can never please everybody, but it will not shake me and it does not matter. So that's no longer a fear. I look in the mirror and I do this now, right now, every single day. I say, I'm great about telling people, I'm great at telling people about plexus. I am not afraid of what they will think. People want to hear about plexus and they want to know. And I tell myself that all the time. I'll be driving in a car, looking in the mirror, and I'll be like, you love telling people about plexus. You love putting yourself out there because it is vulnerable. But it's that belief and rewriting that fear. So write them down. It might be that you don't have enough time. Well, what would it look like if you did? Would it be daily activity? Would it be 30 minutes of your day not watching Netflix? Getting up extra early. I get up at 4:30 in the morning because I have 2 little kids. And that's something I didn't want to do before, but I had to realize my goals were bigger. So of course, write down your goals, because those are going to be what propels you to go through your fears, because some of them, like doing events, for example, I'll stop soon, but I was terrified of doing events. Like, if you think you're scared, I was horrified. Like, I was about to faint. I was bawling my eyes out. It was so bad. But I knew that that was my rock, that was my hurdle at the moment that I had to get through. If I wanted my goal, I had to do events. And this was just even a few months ago, to be honest. It was 5-6 months ago that I had to face this huge fear because I had gotten by without doing them. But to get to Diamond, I knew I had to do events. So the first few, they were bad. It was miserable, And I knew that. I knew it was going to be. Just like the first couple times I told strangers about plexus, it was so uncomfortable and it was so miserable. But now I love them. And it's actually almost kind of boring doing events, just because you're kind of repeating the same stuff. And so you like to change your PowerPoint up and switch it up. I never thought I would have gotten there. So push through. It's worth it. To finish my business testimony, my husband's 23. He owns his own concrete company, makes a great income, but I've been able to I can triple his income. We're building a 4,000 square foot house and we'll be debt free this year. And we have 2 other properties that we're building rentals on. It's insane. He can go to work when he wants, and if he wants, he doesn't work 5 days a week at all. It has changed my future. And so it is completely worth it for you guys, especially if you're at a young age, to just push through, to get over the negativity, to face your fears, to adapt, to see what they are, be okay with them, and rewrite your thoughts. So I guess that's really what I wanted to share.
Oh my gosh, I could barely pull myself from the screen to write down my notes. I have so many things that I learned from you tonight, and thank you so much. You talked about your allergies, and that hit home because my husband's allergies are also relieved. And it's one of those things that whenever you started it, you had no idea that that was even an option.
Yeah.
It's like, well, this is weight loss, and we were bigger than what we wanted to be. Mm-hmm. And it's like my migraines are gone, his allergies were gone, my depression was gone, and it's just like it's definitely something I've been praying for. So It's so exciting. I love that your family's involved with it just like mine is, and we talked about this earlier. Life is so much more fun when your family's with you, but it's not limited to that. That's so cool, is that you're not limited to just your family. And if your family isn't interested, keep going, keep pushing yourself, because they're watching and they want to make sure it works. Your belief, I love how you talked about how you had to have belief in yourself and the products and the company, because this is huge for me. I believed in the products, and I had been involved in another company, and that's why my husband didn't want me involved with this company. It's because the same type of company. He was like, I don't know if that's a good idea. But that's anyway, that's a little bit more about me. But I just love the challenge for this week. Rewriting your fears and reprogramming. Joyce Meyers has a book. It's called Battlefield of the Mind. If nothing else, it's perfect self-development for you, because Battlefield of the Mind is similar to what you're saying. You have to rewrite what you're thinking about. You have to determine what you're going to do. And by doing that, it starts in the mind. And so I just love that. A few things that I want to remind all of our viewers is convention is coming up, and you need to make sure and get there. I know Amber will agree with me that convention is life-changing. There's going to be amazing teaching there. There's going to be amazing people there, and it's going to be one of those things that you will look back and say, I remember that, and I want my people there. And you will remember that, and you will be able to pinpoint something that you learned from there that you carry on until you're diamond. And I'm just going to say, you're going to be diamond. And I know Amber's going to be diamond, I'm going to be diamond, and we're just going on. Speaking of, I forgot to say that Amber's almost sapphire, and I'm so excited for her. I'm so excited for her to be a blue team. So another thing is, she mentioned meetings and how getting out of your comfort zone was huge for her. And meetings are so important to me also. My business really started growing whenever we had meetings. Well, meetings make it easier to learn, it seems like, because you have to push yourself to know what you're talking about, as well as you have to be putting things in terms that other people are going to understand. So I really encourage you, if you aren't going to meetings, go ahead and do meetings yourself. And I think that, the opportunity tour is coming around. You need to get to one. If there's one in driving distance, you need to get there. We had the one in Oklahoma City on Monday. It was amazing. The one in Grapevine on Tuesday. Amazing. Guys, this is life-changing stuff. And if nothing else, it fills you up and it reminds you why you do this. Sometimes it pulls out your why you do this, why you love this company. And that's enough sometimes just to say, I remember why now. So I hope that you guys have a wonderful evening. Amber, I can't thank you enough for joining me. And I appreciate everyone who took their time. I hope you guys have a great weekend and a great week next week. We will be talking to you later.